Hello, today we're going to be making a bathtub rack to sit across your bathtub. It's an ideal gift to give to that special person in your life, and you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. We're going for a fairly straightforward approach. We're having a stand for an iPad or a book, a place to put your wine glass, and a place for a couple of tea light candles as well, just to enhance the relaxation therapy. So I've got a scrap piece of oak. This was originally a shelf that we had in our kitchen. I'm going to repurpose this to make it into a bath shelf, bath tray caddy for my wife's relaxation and enjoyment. I've measured our bath, it's 700mm wide. I'll mark it to 800 for now, and then we'll trim it up. We're going to cut out a shallow curve there and a shallow curve there. The idea being that the bath tray will come around, sort of sit around your waist slightly. So I need some pins and a little hammer. Come in. We're at 800. So we'll come in 100 and 100. And then we'll put a pin in here. And then we'll put a pin in here, about 6 or 7mm, about 1/4 of an inch in from the edge. Bend that one. These used to be my grandfather's. Must be 120 years old. And then we'll get a flexible strip of wood. We'll push that up, and we'll make a mark in the middle, 400, and we'll come up about an inch, 25mm to there. So we'll put it against there, and then we'll push the wood up in the middle. You'll see that. So we'll push it in the middle, hold that where that mark is, and then draw a line around like that there. Take these pins out. This bath shelf, I want it to be about 225 deep, which is 10 inches. And then we'll do the same from those pin marks. 25, 325. Up against there, push it out, hold it on the line. Going to cut 50mm off of each end to give us a 700mm finished width, and that will be the right size for the bath. this round the other side. Next, I'm going to set up the router table to put a round over on all the edges. Just to interrupt for a second, if you're still watching and you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button. It really helps out the channel. Thanks. So I'm going to be using this piece of wood as the upstand to rest the book or iPad on. When I made the cookbook stand for the kitchen recently, I used a 22.5-degree angle, which seemed a very comfortable angle to read things from. So I'm going to use that again now, and we'll need to put a piece behind to hold the front of the stand upright and in the right place. So that will stand something like that. So now we have to figure out how tall it needs to be and how wide it needs to be. So for the width, I'm going to make it 250. Let's do 250. These fast cap tape measures, really good tape measures, and they also come with a built-in pencil sharpener. For those dinosaurs out there like me who still use ordinary pencils, it's quite handy to have that. Mark that, 250. Perfect. Now, how high does it need to be? I'm going to say about 180. 180 high. So there, 180. I'll cut a wedge-shaped bracket to hold the stand up, replicating the 22.5-degree angle. And then that sitting behind it. And that will give us a nice angle to put our book on. What we're going to do now is sand off the book rest. This board is 700, so the middle of it's going to be 350. The book stand will be in the middle. I need to leave 50mm from either end to account for the thickness of the bath sides. So we have 170mm either side. Putting the wine glass on the 170 mark is a bit close to the stand, so I'm going to move it a little. I'm going to stagger the candles at a 45-degree angle, having the right hand one as you look at it slightly behind the book stand and the left one more to the front. Right, so go over to the drill press and drill those out. So I need to draw 2 lines here so the wine glass can get into the hole there. So the centre line is 130 from there. So if I do 124, join those 2 lines up. Okay. So then the next one, 136. Join those 2 lines up. Just flare that slightly at the end. Right, so go over to the bandsaw, cut that out. So now we're going to round over using the router. It's going to use an 1/8 inch round over bit for this one. It's going to do the hole out, and I'll just edge these off with some sandpaper. Just check the wine glass fits in okay. So the first thing to do is we'll mark the centre point on here. So that is 250. So 125. And how tall is that? 145. Do it this way. So 145, that's about there. And 125 is there. Okay, so I know, and there like that, then that's spot on. So what I'll do to make sure, I'll put my square on there, perfectly positioned there, and we're square, and that's where we're going to go. I'm going to put my normal 10-minute bond adhesive, which is waterproof as well, which is handy given that it's going to be in a bath. And we'll put a few dabs up like that, and then some thick CA glue, one on the end, one there, one there, and one there. And we'll give this a spray, the accelerator, and there we go. There we are. By the time that's dry, that will be perfectly stable. So the next thing we need to do is to fix it in place on the shelf here. Mark our centre line. There. That needs to be in the middle there. Can actually go a bit further back than that, I think. What we can do is we're 130 there, 125 there. So just tilt that ever so slightly. We're just going to eye it in because this is a wooden bath rack, not a rocket to the moon. So I'm just going to draw a very, very faint pencil line there. And then I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to put, this time, quite a lot of glue. I'm just going to smooth that on first. And then I'm just going to tack a little drop of CA on the end, and right on the end. And that will be enough to hold it in place. So I'm going to do what we did before, eye it in, and we are go for launch. So I'm just going to give that a spray. Let that sit for a few minutes. Now that's gone off enough that we can get on with the next bit, which is going to be, we're going to need something on there, sitting here, to stop whatever we've got there slipping down or from pages opening. So what I'm going to do is to cut a small piece of wood just on there, just like that, 18mm, stick it down, and that will do. And I'm going to round it all over so it looks lovely. Got this piece of wood which is 35 wide, so I want to use that as a marker. Just pop that against there, draw a line there, and then we're going to glue that just on that line. So the middle of that, so that's 160 long. So we'll mark that there. That will be there, like that. And once again, for the last time, I'm going to use some glue, spread it along, a couple of drops of CA glue or super glue. Once more, one on the end, one in the middle, one at that end. Quick spray on there, the accelerator. Line up our lines, making sure we're parallel and then pushing down. So now we'll let that dry overnight and then we'll come back and finish it in the morning. Now we've finished making the bath rack, we're going to spray it with some water to raise the grain. Once we've sanded that off and finished the product, it will remain smooth throughout its lifetime. Just going to give it a light spray. All over. And a piece of shop towel. It's going to wipe the excess off. So I just want to raise the grain, not saturate it. And don't forget the underside and the back. Put that up on some of these little painting blocks. These are ones that printed off on the 3D printer, but you could just use a screw through a piece of scrap wood and that would do exactly the same. Just put one in each corner. and that'll hold it off the ground, or the bench in this case, and give it a chance to dry. But we'll leave that for a while, and then we'll come back and we'll sand off the grain. Okay, so now the wood's dried, and there's a slight raising of the grain on here. Nothing drastic, but you can definitely feel it, and it's not as smooth as we want it to be. So the next thing to do is to get some high grit sandpaper. Something around 600 grit is perfect if you have some. If you don't, then a really good tip, courtesy of Steve Ramsey, is to use some screwed up brown paper. And this will be abrasive enough to take the nibs off and make the surface nice and smooth, ready for finishing. Just go over this, following the grain. Really does give you a nice smooth feel. That should be just about enough now. So what we're going to do is get some wax oil and apply that. Probably give it a couple of coats, and then we'll pretty much be done. We'll be using a hard wax oil from Oli Natura, which I've spoken about in previous videos. Again, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to try some for yourself. And this time I'm going to be applying it using a foam brush. So we're going to start off on the underside. Probably put some music over this bit. Might even speed it up, because let's face it, it's not the most riveting piece of video you're ever going to watch today. So we need to leave this for 10 to 30 minutes just to let the oil soak in a bit, and then we'll come back and wipe off the excess, and then give it some time to dry, and then pop on another coat. And after 2 coats, here it is finished, and waiting on the bar for that special someone to try it out. What? If you'd like to see more videos on how to build projects and gift ideas for your home, click here, and I'll see you next time.